Good evening, everyone. My name is Melodee Morita, your host for this evening. I am an NBA reporter and bilingual MC for Japanese government events. And today I am so honored to host Explore Hokkaido, Taste and Treasures from Japan's North here at Japan Society. Our hope tonight is to share with you many of Hokkaido's well-known treasures, as well as lesser-known secrets. Our speakers will dig deep into what makes Hokkaido special, and we really hope you discover something new tonight. Tonight's event will take place in two parts. We'll begin right here on the stage with some discussions and presentations with special guests from Japan. Following that, you are welcome to enjoy a reception in our lobby featuring foods and drinks from across Hokkaido. Before we begin, very excited, right? All right, so before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the organizers of tonight's event, the Government of Hokkaido and Japan Society. Thank you very much. So I'd like to start by sharing a special video from Dr. Joshua Walker, Japan Society's CEO and president. Dr. Walker grew up in Hokkaido and is the Hokkaido ambassador here in the United States. Dr. Walker hoped to join us tonight, but he is currently speaking in Japan at the Tokyo Global Dialogue. While he isn't here, he has some opening remarks for you all, so please direct your attention to the screen.
Konnichiwa. I'm Joshua Walker. I have the privilege of being the president and CEO of Japan Society, and I am so grateful that you're here today. I'm particularly grateful because Hokkaido, my heartland, where I consider myself to be a Dosanko, is what you're here to learn about. There is so much abundance to this amazing island that is not as well known as many other parts. And I hope you get to understand the hidden beauty of Hokkaido, just like I have my entire life, having grown up from 1 to 18. There's no place I'd rather be than with you, but unfortunately, I'm going to be in Tokyo at the Tokyo Global Dialogues at the invitation of the foreign minister. There's quite a few things going on in U.S.-Japan relations, and I want to be here to support, but my heart is there with you in New York as Hokkaido is the theme. Thank you so much for supporting Hokkaido. I hope you get a chance to visit both us here at Japan Society again and Hokkaido as well. Take care. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Dr. Walker. Now, I'm honored to welcome our first speaker and the organizer of this event, Vice Governor of Hokkaido, Tsuyoshi Mitsuhashi. Mitsuhashi-san, thank you very much. Mitsuhashi-san has been part of the Hokkaido government since 1998. He has worked as the Deputy Director General of the Economic Planning Bureau, Director General of the Policy Planning Division, and more. He became the Vice Governor in 2024, and we are so excited to hear his remarks tonight. So please join me in welcoming Vice Governor Mitsuhashi. どうぞよろしくお願いいたします。
Good evening, everyone. 皆さんこんばんは。ありがとうございます。Thank you very much. My name is Tsuyoshi Mitsuhashi, Vice Governor of Hokkaido Government, northernmost island of Japan. Thank you very much for joining us to explore Hokkaido this evening. President Walker of Japan Society spent 18 years of his youth in Hokkaido. Today, I have the honor of presenting what Hokkaido has to offer to all of you here in New York, the center of the global economy. I'm curious about how much you all know about Hokkaido. Please raise your hand if you have heard of Hokkaido. Many people raise hand. Thank you very much. Hokkaido is popular among tourists from overseas, but it is also one of the most popular destinations for Japanese tourists, based on a survey of Japanese citizens. Hokkaido has been selected as the most attractive prefecture for 16 years straight. In Hokkaido, we have magnificent nature for beautiful seasons and a variety of activities to try and places to visit. Hokkaido is also known in Japan as a treasure trove of food. Sushi and ramen are made with fresh ingredients harvested from the prefecture's great nature, and we are also the top producer of beef in Japan. Today, we have invited two guests from Hokkaido to speak to you. Our first presenter is Takada Kensuke-san, Deputy Director of Sales and Marketing for Hotel Tsuruga Group. He has the main MC at Adventure Travel World Summit, an international business conference held for the first time in Asia 2 years ago in Hokkaido to promote our excellent powder snow and the other strengths in adventure travel. Our second presenter is Ikeura Kenichi-san, Director and CFO of Nishiyama Seimen. Nishiyama Seimen is a ramen noodle producer which has been expanding their business worldwide, including in New York. This evening, Ikeura-san is going to talk about the ramen culture of Hokkaido, which has become an icon of Japanese food culture. I would like to thank Takada-san and Ikeura-san for taking a long trip from Hokkaido to New York for this event. By the end of their presentation, I'm sure we'll be motivated to learn more about and visit Hokkaido. This evening, we have also prepared food from Hokkaido so that you can enjoy what we have to offer first run. We have ramen, sake, beer, rice, and much more. And if you find something you love this evening, you will be pleased to hear that the most of them are available for purchase in New York. It is my first time in New York, and we traveled 7,000 miles to get here. Even though the distance between us is great on a map, I'm confident that this event will bring us closer together. I hope you enjoyed your adventure to Hokkaido this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vice Governor Mitsuhashi. Next, I would like to introduce Kensuke Takada, the Deputy Director of Sales and Marketing, International Project Team, Hotel Tsuruga Group, and Ambassador of the Adventure Travel Trade Association. Born in Hokkaido, Takada-san received his education overseas in Australia. He has presented the appeals of adventure travel in Hokkaido as an MC, speaker, translator, and presenter at events around the world. Please give a warm welcome to Takada-san. Onegaishimasu.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear my voice? Yes, thank you very much. So everybody say konbanwa before, so I will say iran karapte. Have you ever heard this before? It's in Ainu language. It's a traditional language from Ainu people who's living Hokkaido. Iran karapte. Okay, everybody? Are you ready to say it again? Iran karapte. Thank you very much. That exact meaning is, let me touch your heart softly. Very kind. Okay, so question is, do you know how to say, let me touch your heart hardly? Do you know how to say? We call that CPR. Okay, so you should know that, okay? So thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Ken Takada, and I used to be the MC of Adventure Travel Trade Association, and I'm very honored to standing here and presenting Hokkaido. So bear with me, and let's talk about Hokkaido. Okay, can anyone read this? Yes? Everybody knows, right? Hokkaido. Thank you very much. Very simple, very dialect. Okay, so Mr. Mitsuhashi asked you who ever heard of Hokkaido before. Have you ever been to Hokkaido before? Thank you very much. Who wants to visit Hokkaido? Okay, a little bit awkwardness because I saw some of the people doesn't raise a hand. I'm gonna ask again. Who wants to go to Hokkaido? That's better. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's talk about Hokkaido, a little bit about the facts. Now, Hokkaido, as you can see in Japanese as well, is Japan's second largest island. Okay, as a prefecture, it's the biggest one, but the biggest island in Japan is the mainland Japan, so it's the second biggest island. Then the capital city is Sapporo, and the districts are 69. And there's a municipalities, there's 179 municipalities, and it's about 32,210 square meters. So it's pretty big. And the population is total of, I think it's 5 million around. So it's pretty big country. But the density, as you can see, is a 60 kilometers per square meter. So if you live in one people, around 60 kilometers is an empty area. So it's a quite big area, as you can see. Okay, so let's talk about Hokkaido. Today's agenda is as follows. Culture, food, activity, nature, and people. So this is a question for people who's living in United States. Okay, so the answer to this question is? Thank you very much. That's correct, 1776. Okay, how about when Hokkaido becomes Japan's prefecture? 1776? 1869. 1869. So just think about it, the cultural differences of Japan and Hokkaido. Hokkaido is newer than the United States. So that's why it's distinct difference in culture. So as you can see, this is a photograph of mainland Japan in 1800. So geisha-san, kimono, and ladies, and a little bit of samurai still left. In Hokkaido, we didn't have a camera then, so we only have a new photograph. So this is the Ainu people, right? This is a distinct Ainu people, and this photograph is actually taken from my town, my hometown. So if you walk 200 meters from my house, you can see people like this. And Ainu traditional dancing, you can see every night in Ainu traditional village called Ainu Kotan. Ainu means human in Ainu language. Kotan means village. So Ainu Kotan means human village. And this is a ceremonial dancing in Hokkaido and Japan and Ainu people. Now, let's talk about food. Because after this, we talk about ramen, so I'm gonna be a little bit thorough, not deep into the food, but as you can see, I love food. So I would love to talk about more food, but this is not my job today. Okay, so food self-sufficiency rate, as you can see, Japan is pretty low. But if you just abstract from Japan, only Hokkaido is 223%. So it's between Canada and Australia. So if something happened and Hokkaido declared independence, we survive. Only a food-wise. Okay? Only a food-wise. So my stomach will be happy, but my lifestyle will be changed because all the main contents from manga, cartoons, all those is come from mainland Japan. So we are kaput about that. As you can see, seafood, ice cream, dairy product, sweets, yeah, and who loves scallops? Oh, thank you very much. Who likes seafood? Who like dairy products? Okay, I think you just raise your hand, you don't have to put it down, but yeah, as you can see, the food is great in Hokkaido. We have agriculture, fishery, and dairy products farming. Do you know there's only 3 factories in the world United States and France, and one in Japan. Do you know what kind of factory it is? Cheese? No. Haagen-Dazs. Yeah. Actual Haagen-Dazs creation factory is in Gunma Prefecture, but the milk is come from Hokkaido. Yeah. So now it's, official. Hokkaido's dairy milk product is good quality. Now let's talk about Hokkaido's activity. I don't have much time, so I just keep going. So winter and summer. Have you ever tried this one before? This is Hokkaido drift ice diving. So when you go into the ocean, the drift ice coming from the Amur River from Russia, you jump in. It's extremely dangerous. Yeah, it is extremely dangerous, but if you go with a guide, you'll be safe. Fingers crossed. And this is snow trekking in the frozen lake. Also, it's dangerous, as you can see. And more dangerous for a person like me because of the weight problem. And this is cycling. And I don't like this name of the bike. This one called fat bike. I have no idea what, but this one called fat bike. Now, cycling in Hokkaido summer area, and also Hokkaido is very well known for the winery. So if you want to go for the cycling, after that, maybe you can go to the winery and just have a taste. And you can see, of course, you can go to the blue pond, Aoike. Okay, this is actually aluminum melting in the water. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Who wants to see the movie of the Hokkaido's summer activity? If you want to see the summer, just give a clap. Okay, how about the winter? Winter it is. It is a 3-minute movie, so I have a 3 minutes to rest. Thank you very much. I hope it makes you want to come more into Hokkaido as well. Okay, so let's talk about Hokkaido's nature. But I'll skip the details because you just saw Hokkaido's nature. Just what kind of place it is. You have to understand. Hokkaido has 7 national parks inside one prefecture. That's one of the most highest number. Okay, as you can see, this blue part is a national park, and the green part is quasi-national park, and the pink part is another smaller parks. So we are surrounded by the national parks. So we are living amongst the national parks and the wildlife. That's why we have to be careful about the bears and the fox and all those kind of things. So now we are reaching to the end of my presentation. Let me talk about this. Anybody know how to read this? Yes, some of you know. Yes, this means dosanko. Dosanko, do you know what the dosanko means? You know the actual meaning of dosanko? Actual meaning of dosanko is this, the horse. So Hokkaido people is mainly Ainu people, but in 1800s, so people from mainland Japan visiting Hokkaido to create the farmland. In that time, they leave the horses in Hokkaido, then go back to the mainland in the winter time because the winter was too cold for them. So the horse left alone. Keep doing that for generations. Only surviving horse become dosanko, Hokkaido's only horse. They are very patient, strong, and very kind and smart horse. Second meaning of dosanko is Hokkaido people. Okay? Hokkaido people is also smart, good looking, strong. I don't know why you're laughing. But as I said, they are patient. So I'll let you go with this one. And also, I'm doing my main job for this visit to New York is 15 minutes speech. And I rode 11-hour flight. I took 11-hour flight. If you're not dosanko, you wouldn't do that. You couldn't do that because we're patient. So let me talk about the photograph. I'll show you for the photograph of Hokkaido people, dosanko, which is no photograph because I want you to meet real dosanko after this ceremony, not ceremony, but presentation. I hope you enjoy, and I'm very honored. Today is 30th of January. And 5 days ago, 25th of January, was a very important day for Hokkaido people. Do you have any idea? It was my birthday. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy tonight's presentation, and I hope you enjoy this event. Thank you.
Thank you again for the insightful sharing, Takada-san. Next, one of Hokkaido's most famous and tasty exports is Sapporo-style ramen. It's a ramen style that's beloved around the globe, and I'm so excited to introduce our next speaker, who is an expert on Sapporo ramen. Kenichi Ikeura is the director and CFO of Nishiyama Seimen. Nishiyama Seimen began as a popular ramen stall in Sapporo in 1947. In 1955, the company developed fresh, curly yellow noodles with a stretchy and firm texture that would become the standard noodles for Sapporo-style ramen ever since. In the US, you can try the noodles from Nishiyama Seimen in ramen shops across the country, and tonight you can try them at the reception. Please give Ikeura-san a very warm welcome. Ikeura-san, よろしくお願いいたします。
いや、大丈夫です。I'm sorry. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Please let me introduce myself. I'm Kenichi Ikeura from Nishiyama Seimen Company Limited, Sapporo, Hokkaido, Japan. 本来であれば創業者の長男である社長の西山隆が登壇すべきところであり、本人も楽しみにしておりましたが、あいにく予定が合わず大変残念がっておりました。社長に代わりまして私から札幌ラーメンの歴史と将来についてお話しさせていただきます。
Ordinarily, it would be company president Takashi Nishiyama, who is also our founder's eldest son, speaking to you tonight. In fact, he was really looking forward to being here, but regrettably, to his great disappointment, his schedule did not allow it. And so I shall tell you the history and future of Sapporo Ramen in his stead.
当社は1950年に創業者西山隆之がラーメン屋台のだるま県の自家製麺を担当したところに始まります。
So our company came into existence in 1950 when founder Takayuki Nishiyama was tasked with making the noodles for the ramen street stall Daruma Ken.
県は参考にしてラーメン屋台を始めたいという方々に対して手ほどきをするうちにラーメン屋台が急速に増えたことから1953年製麺部門を分離し西山製麺所を創業し業務用生ラーメンの製造を開始いたしました。
Due to the rapid proliferation of ramen stalls while he was training those interested in starting ones modeled after Daruma Ken, Nishiyama split off its noodle making division in 1953, naming it Nishiyama Seimenjo, and began manufacturing commercial use fresh ramen noodles.
1955年、札幌ラーメンの特徴である卵入り、高水熟成、縮れのある足腰の強い麺を開発しました。これが現在に続く札幌ラーメンの誕生です。当社では製造者であるとともに札幌ラーメン文化を国内外に広めていくことを使命としております。
2 years later, in 1955, Nishiyama developed the firm but wavy egg-containing noodles, matured using a high water content technique that continues to be synonymous with Sapporo Ramen to this day. We at Nishiyama Seimen don't think of ourselves as just manufacturers, but consider it our mission to spread Sapporo Ramen culture both within and outside Japan.
国内においては1987年から小学校の社会科教材に取り上げられたことから毎年工場見学の受け入れを続けてきており、2024年は約1万2000人の児童に実際の工場を見学してもらって食文化教育の一端を担っております。
Domestically, ever since we were featured in grade school social studies learning materials in 1987, we've received requests for factory tours every year. In 2024, we played a part in the food culture education of approximately 12,000 children who toured our actual factory.
当社の特徴は麺を提供するだけではなく、創業以来一貫して開業支援としてスープ、具材、調理方法まで指導して本物の札幌ラーメンを提供できるように努めております。当社内には実際のラーメン店と同様の作りの厨房設備を持っており、そこで実際の店舗同様の環境でラーメン作りを学んでいただいています。
What is distinctive about our company is that from the day we were founded, we have consistently provided business startup support in the form of broth and ingredients, not just noodles, and even cooking technique guidance, so that the restaurant can offer authentic Sapporo ramen. We have a kitchen and equipment similar to that found in an actual ramen shop right on our grounds, where one can learn how to make ramen in a comparable environment.
当社の海外展開のきっかけは、国内のお客様が海外に進出するのに合わせて、2014年、ドイツ・デュッセルドルフに札幌西山ヨーロッパを設立。 続いて10月に持ち株会社札幌西山 USA をワシントン DC に設立しました。実際の営業活動は2016年に西山ラーメン USA を当地ニューヨークに設立しました。
The catalyst for overseas expansion was the spread of our domestic clients abroad. Accordingly, we established Sapporo Nishiyama Europe in Dusseldorf, Germany in 2014, and Sapporo Nishiyama USA Holdings in Washington, D.C. in October of that same year. Actual business operations commenced with the establishment of Nishiyama Ramen USA right here in New York in 2016.
それでは本題に入りますが、今や日本食、和食として有名になったラーメンですが、起源は1700年頃、中国福建省から日本の南、長崎の出島に入ってきたと言われております。塩と豚骨をベースとした長崎ちゃんぽんと言われているものです。その後、1853年、ペリー提督率いるアメリカ合衆国海軍東インド艦隊が東京に来航。1854年、日米和平条約が締結され、鎖国が終焉を迎えます。
Now let's cut to the chase. Ramen may have gained renown as Japanese cuisine, but is thought to have first entered Japan from China's Fujian province through Dejima, Nagasaki around 1700. This is the dish known as Nagasaki champon, which has a salt and pork bone soup base. Later in 1853, the United States East India Squadron, led by Commodore Perry, made port in Tokyo. The Japan-U.S. Treaty of Peace and Amity was signed in 1854, and Japan's isolationism came to an end.
鎖国の終焉により、開国、横浜、神戸といった港が活況を呈し、中国と日本の料理人がコラボレーションして、中華料理であった中華そばに日本の醤油が加わって醤油ラーメンが誕生いたしました。米国海軍の来航がなければラーメンは誕生しなかったかもしれないというアメリカとのご縁を感じるエピソードであります。
Due to the opening up of Japan, port cities such as Yokohama and Kobe bustled with activity, and through the collaboration of Chinese and Japanese chefs, Japanese soy sauce was added to the Chinese dish chuka soba, or Chinese noodles, and shoyu ramen was born. This anecdote relates a deep connection to America, and one wonders if ramen may never have existed if the U.S. Navy hadn't paid their call.
その後、ラーメン文化は日本を北上し、やがて北海道、札幌へ到達します。札幌では1923年に中華そばが出されていたという記録が残されています。1950年前後にはこってりとした澄んだスープが登場したと言われています。1951年、中華鍋を使って野菜を煽り、ラーメンの上にトッピングするというアイデアが取り入れられました。そして1953年から1955年にかけて、タレに味噌を使ったラーメンが研究され完成しました。
Ramen culture subsequently traveled northward, eventually reaching Sapporo, Hokkaido. There are records of chuka soba being served in Sapporo in 1923. A rich, clear broth was said to have developed around 1950. In 1951, the idea to top ramen with vegetables stir-fried in a wok was incorporated. And from 1953 to 1955, experiments to add miso to the broth were conducted and perfected.
同時に当社創業者が開発した卵入り高水熟成縮れのある足腰の強い麺と一体となって札幌ラーメンが完成しました。縮れをつけることによりスープが麺に絡んで濃厚な風味を楽しむことができるのです。味噌味、中華鍋を使った煽り野菜、黄色い縮れ麺の3つが札幌ラーメンの特徴となっています。実はこの誕生にもアメリカとのご縁がございます。
This was concurrently integrated with the egg-containing, high water content aged, firm but wavy noodles our founder had developed, and Sapporo-style ramen was achieved. Adding waviness to the noodles helps the broth cling to them more, creating a more robust flavor for the diner to enjoy. Thus, miso flavor, wok sauteed vegetables, and yellow wavy noodles are the three features of Sapporo ramen. By the way, there's a connection to America and the birth of Sapporo ramen as well.
札幌ラーメン発祥の店と言われている味の三平の店主大森盛人氏が当社の麺を使った味噌ラーメンをメニューに取り入れましたが、果たしてお客様に受け入れられるかが不安でありました。当時在札幌米国領事館総領事であったロナルド・ガイダック氏がお店の常連客であったことから大宮氏が感想を尋ねました。
Morita Omiya, the owner of Ajino Sanpei, said to be the first establishment to serve Sapporo ramen, added miso ramen with our Nishiyama Seimen noodles to his menu, but worried whether it would be accepted by customers. Upon asking then Consul General of the United States in Sapporo, Ronald Gaiduk, as he happened to be a regular patron,
日本人はラーメンが大好きだ。そして味噌が大好きだ。味噌の栄養価は素晴らしい。味噌は日本の食文化だ。このラーメンは札幌市民だけではなく日本国民、そして私の故郷米国でも食べられる可能性に満ちた素晴らしい料理だと励まされました。
He was assured that Japanese people love ramen. They also love miso. Miso has amazing nutritional value. Miso is part of Japanese food culture. And this ramen is a fantastic dish teeming with the potential to be eaten not just by Sapporo residents, but by all Japanese, as well as in my homeland of America.
この励ましに自信を受けた大宮氏がラーメン店を始めたいという人々にレシピを公開したことで札幌味噌ラーメンは瞬く間に広がり、今や札幌の食文化を象徴する存在となったわけです。外宅総領事の励ましがなければ札幌ラーメンはこれほどまでには広がらなかったかもしれません。
Thanks to Omiya disclosing the recipe to others who wanted to open their own ramen shop, bolstered by this encouragement, Sapporo miso ramen spread in the blink of an eye and came to be a symbol of Sapporo food culture. Thus, if Consul General Gaiduk had not championed it, Sapporo ramen may not have propagated to this extent.
札幌ラーメンの海外への進出は1985年頃からハワイや香港などで開催された北海道物産展に出店をし、現地の方々に札幌ラーメンを提供したことに始まります。フライパンを野菜で煽る調理方法はパフォーマンスとして見応えがあり好評となりました。
Overseas expansion of Sapporo ramen began around 1985 when it was exhibited at Hokkaido regional products fairs held in places such as Hawaii and Hong Kong, leading to Sapporo ramen being supplied to local people. It became quite popular, due in part to the cooking method of sautéing vegetables in frying pans, turning into performances worth one's while to observe.
2000年頃から香港、シンガポールなどから札幌ラーメン専門店を開業したいという引き合いが増加しました。当社では先ほど申し上げましたが、社内の厨房設備を活用して食材の提供に加えて調理指導までを行う体制を構築し、開業する方が本物の札幌ラーメンを提供できるようサポートしてまいりました。
From around 2000, inquiries from Hong Kong, Singapore, and other areas expressing the desire to open shops specializing in Sapporo ramen increased. Putting that in-house kitchen I mentioned earlier to use, we developed a framework that included cooking instruction on top of ingredient purveyance to support these entrepreneurs and enable them to provide authentic Sapporo ramen.
2016年にはワシントンポスト電子版で札幌スタイル味噌ラーメンが取り上げられました。2017年にはテキサス州オースティンで開催されたラーメンエクスポ USA に出展、FOXTV7 の取材を受けて、その模様は全米に生中継されました。
In 2016, the electronic edition of the Washington Post ran a feature on Sapporo-style miso ramen. In 2017, we exhibited at Ramen Expo USA in Austin, Texas, where we were interviewed by Fox TV7 on live broadcast that was televised across the United States.
2020年にはワシントン DC にてスミソニアン協会によるプログラムとして 当社社長の講演とランチミーティングが開催されました。最近では2024年2月にラーム・エマニュエル駐日米国大使が来社され、当社の厨房設備であるプレゼンテーションルームで経済界の方々とランチミーティングを開催いたしました。
In 2020, our company president spoke at and was part of a lunch program in Washington, D.C., sponsored by the Smithsonian Associates. And just last February, the then U.S. ambassador to Japan, Rahm Emanuel, paid our company a visit and hosted a lunch meeting with business leaders in our conference room that has the kitchen facility.
欧州に目を向けますと、2025年のイタリア・ミラノ万博の日本館に出店したラーメン店に対して麺の供給をいたしました。2014年には中東アラブ首長国連邦ドバイ首長国に向けて日本初のハラル対応の札幌ラーメンを供給しております。
Turning our focus to Europe, we supplied noodles to the ramen shops that were exhibiting in the Japan Pavilion at the 2015 Expo in Milan, Italy. And since 2014, we have been supplying the Emirate of Dubai in the Middle East with Japan's first ever halal-compliant Sapporo ramen.
こうした事業展開の結果、現在35の国と地域、約350店のお店に札幌ラーメンをお届けしています。これは当社の売上の実に 20% を占めるまでになっております。うちアメリカでは20店で当社の麺を使った札幌ラーメンを召し上がることができます。ニューヨークでは麺恋佐藤さんで召し上がることができます。
As a result of such business developments, we are currently delivering Sapporo ramen to approximately 350 establishments in 35 countries and localities, which has come to account for about 20% of overall sales. Among these are included 20 establishments in America where you can enjoy Sapporo ramen with Nishiyama Seimen noodles. Here in New York City, you can eat it at Menkoi Sato in the West Village.
最も遠いところで言えば、南極大陸にある日本の観測基地、昭和基地でも使われています。当社の麺はメイドインジャパンにこだわり、札幌の本社工場で製造した本物の味を冷凍したコンテナで輸出しています。
The farthest place you can find our noodles is Showa Base, Japan's observation base on Antarctica. And as we are assiduous about being made in Sapporo, we only export the authentic flavor produced at our head factory in Sapporo, which we freeze and then ship by container.
では、海外における札幌ラーメンの将来は一体どうなのでしょうか。現在、日本国外のラーメンには大きく2つあると考えています。一つは、見た目はラーメンであるけれども、味は全く似て非なるもの。本物のラーメンを知らない調理人が作ったもの。もう一つが当社が目指す本物のラーメンです。
So, what is the future of Sapporo ramen overseas? I feel that there are two broad types of ramen that currently exist outside Japan. One is something that looks like ramen, but while its flavor is similar, it is still different and was prepared by a chef who does not know authentic ramen. The other is the same real deal ramen that our company aims for.
日本と同等の素材を使って調理技術だけではなく歴史、伝統、文化を理解している調理人により作り出される本物の札幌ラーメンです。中国から日本に入ってきた中華そばが豚骨、醤油、味噌という日本の食材に出会い、ラーメン、札幌ラーメンに進化したように、ラーメンはその土地土地の食材と出会い、さらに進化していくでしょう。
A true Sapporo ramen that was produced by a chef who uses the same ingredients as their colleague in Japan and understands not just the cooking techniques, but its history, traditions, and culture as well. Just as the chuka soba from China evolved into ramen, and then Sapporo ramen upon encountering Japanese ingredients such as pork bones, shoyu soy sauce, and miso, ramen will likely further evolve as it comes upon each region's ingredients.
ラーメンは 現地の食文化との親和性が高い料理です。イタリア・ローマではカルボナーラのラーメンが人気メニューとなっています。一つ大切なことは、進化する前のラーメンが本物であるかどうかです。本物が進化してこそ食文化になると信じています。
Ramen is a dish that has high affinity with local food culture. In Rome, Italy, carbonara ramen is already a popular menu item. One thing that is important is whether that ramen prior to evolving was authentic or not. I believe that it can become food culture if it arises from the real deal.
私たちは本物の札幌ラーメンを世界の方々に知っていただき、札幌ラーメンが味噌に出会ったように新しい食材、食文化と出会い、さらに進化していくことを期待しています。そこには変わらず黄色くて縮れている足腰の強い札幌ラーメンの麺が選ばれると信じています。
We at Nishiyama Seimen want to make people around the world aware of authentic Sapporo ramen and have high hopes that, just as it encountered miso, Sapporo ramen will continue to evolve as it meets new ingredients and new food cultures. At the same time, we trust that the yellow, firm but wavy, etc. Sapporo ramen noodles will remain the noodle of choice.
本日この後試食していただく札幌ラーメンは、先ほどご紹介したハラル対応として開発したものです。一人でも多くの方に札幌ラーメンを知っていただきたいという思いで、動物エキスを一切使っておりません。ビーガン、ベジタリアンの方々にも安心して召し上がっていただけます。どうかお召し上がりください。Thank you for listening.
The Sapporo ramen that you'll be tasting later tonight is the one we developed to be halal compliant. It uses absolutely no meat or fish stock in order to allow as many people as possible to experience Sapporo ramen. Thus, vegetarians and vegans can also safely enjoy trying it. Bon appetit.
Thank you very much, Ikeura-san. ありがとうございました。I'm very hungry after that presentation, but we've got to wait a little bit longer till we get to enjoy his noodles. それでは池浦さん、こちらの方にご移動お願いいたします。So we're going to conclude this with a joint discussion. So I'd also like to ask Takada-san to please join us again on the stage. どうぞご着席ください。So first off, thank you to both of you for all the insightful information. I hope that you all enjoyed it. But everyone in the audience, I want to learn a little bit more about you as well. So could you raise your hand if you have never been to Hokkaido before? Oh, that's a lot of people. So how about those who felt like you want to go to Hokkaido after seeing their presentations? That's a lot of people. Wonderful. Okay, well, so we've actually had a lot of things that you guys shared tonight, but I want to ask for a little bit more of personal suggestions. So I want to start off with Takada-san. Are there any local spots that you recommend that might not be as well known to tourists?
Okay, so I suggest you should go to the Kaminokoike. It's in eastern Hokkaido. There's another very clear pond. That is a lake come from Lake Mashu, and there's a sub small lake. It's very clear, and Kaminokoike. The name of the translation is a Son of God pond. So it's so clear and so majestic, and I think it's a very good place to visit.
Yeah, the scenery in Hokkaido is incredible. I would love to see that in person as well. それでは池浦さんにもお聞きしたいんですけれども、I'm also going to ask 池浦さん the same question. あまり知られていない北海道のおすすめの地元スポットはありますでしょうか？
はい、そうですね、函館や小樽といった、港町ではですね、朝市というものが開かれておりまして、そこでは漁師がその日漁で取ってきたホタテとかイクラとかですね、そういった食材をその場で買い求めることが できて味わうことができます。これは皆さん早起きをして、召し上がることをお勧めします。
So, in port cities such as Hakodate and Otaru, there's something called the asaichi, or early morning market, where you can actually buy, purchase, and eat seafood that was freshly caught by the local fishermen that very day. And, things like scallops, squid, and much more. And so, as they say, the early bird catches the worm. Or in this case, the seafood.
Yes, so it's best to wake up early in the morning and go to the morning fish market to get the best seafood in Hokkaido. So next question I want to ask Takada-san, can you share a favorite experience that may be surprising for foreign tourists?
Okay, surprising foreign tourists. I think surprising location, the tourist location is in Kitami area. There is an aquarium inside a mountain.
Inside a mountain?
Yes, it's only
Oh.
specialized in a mountain and a lake, freshwater fish. So like a taimen, rainbow trout, and it shows very wild-like the showcase. So I think this is a very good place to visit.
Yeah, I've never heard of anything like that before. それでは、同じ質問をさせていただければと思うんですけれども、やっぱり海外からの旅行者がたくさん北海道を訪れると思うんですけれども、やっぱり北海道でできる驚きの体験などはありますでしょうか？
そうですね。皆さん最近は先ほどラーメンの話をしましたが、SNS でラーメン店はこのお店と決めて召し上がる方が多いんですが、実は札幌や千歳空港にはラーメン横丁というラーメン店がいくつも軒を連ねる街並みがございます。ぜひですね、一杯ではなくいくつかのラーメンを食べ比べて、それぞれのお店の独特の味にを比較してですね、楽しんでいただきたいというふうに思います。
So, I just spoke about ramen, and it's very common these days for tourists to go to ramen shop A or ramen shop B based on social media posts. However, I wanted to let you know that both in Sapporo itself, but also at the new Chitose airport, there are what we call ramen alleys or ramen lanes, where there are a whole slew of ramen shops, one after another. And so I challenge you, instead of just having one bowl of ramen, to do a ramen crawl and do your own comparison shopping to find your own special favorite bowl of ramen, because each shop owner, each chef, has their own unique take on broth and toppings.
And I'm the result.
Right, so Hokkaido is obviously very well known for ramen, but there's also really well known for chocolate and seafood and much more. So Takada-san, do you have a personal favorite as a local?
Oh yes, if you want to go to the Hokkaido, you should drink milk, especially Yoro Ushi. Okay, everybody taking a memo? Yoro Ushi milk. The small jar
Write
is
it down, jot it
400 yen.
down.
It's expensive, but it's pasteurized in very low temperature, 60 degrees in 30 minutes, I think. So it tastes very strong, I mean very concentrated. So it will change, it will blow your mind.
Yeah, I would love to do that. And let's ask Ikeura-san's favorite Hokkaido food as well. Ikeura-san, 北海道で一番お好きな食べ物だったり、おすすめな食べ物は何でしょうか？
これは皆さんラーメンですよね。
Obviously
Come
ramen,
on,
right?
it's gotta be ramen.
あえてラーメン以外で anything aside from ramen that we'd like to ask.
非常に難しい質問で答えを用意してませんでしたが、北海道はですね、雪解けの非常においしい水と、そしておいしいお米の取れる地域です。そのおいしい水とおいしいお米からできる日本酒、お酒をぜひ試してみていただければと思います。
Man, that's such a difficult question. I wasn't prepared to answer it at all. Well, I can tell you for a fact that there is some really tasty water because it comes from ice melt or snow melt, and also we grow very savory rice. So I would say putting those together, what do you get? You get Japanese rice wine or sake. And that is what I would recommend for all of you to try.
Right, and speaking of sake and alcohol, wine is also kind of growing in Hokkaido as well, right?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, so we have a variety of beverages and food that we have prepared at the reception. So we really hope you guys look forward to it. So we have a couple minutes left maybe, so maybe last question. There are a lot of animes and films that are based in Hokkaido. Have you guys ever heard of the movie Golden Kamui, for example? Oh, a lot of you. Awesome. And there's also another drama that I watched online. It's called Boku dake ga inai machi, or Erased in English. Have any of you seen it? Wow, that's awesome. So inside that, in the film, I heard this word that's I believe it's a Hokkaido dialect. It's called shitakke, which means see you later or something, right? So I think we want to wrap this up by asking you about any Hokkaido dialects that you want to share with the audience that they can take home. Anything that's easy to remember?
Anybody speaks Japanese in here? Or little Japanese is okay. Just put
Quite some hands.
dabe in the end. Dabe.
Dabe.
Okay? It will make very Hokkaido dialect, and it means right kind of thing, or more like capiche kind of thing. So just put dabe in the end of the sentence, you will make a dosanko.
では、Ikeuraさんは北海道弁ありますか？
はい、私からですね、では、なまらということ、これね、蝶という意味ですね。蝶という意味のなまら、これをお勧めいたします。
I would have to choose namara. It's similar to cho, or very, or super dash something.
Yeah, so there's a lot of Hokkaido films that are based in Hokkaido, filmed across Hokkaido, that you guys can definitely enjoy the scenery as well. So highly recommend you to check out those films. But yeah, looking at the time, I think it's almost time to wrap up. So if we can ask for final comments from each of you, starting off with Takada-san, please.
Okay, final comment. Okay. What are you waiting for?
It's time to get moving, right? 池浦さんは最後に一言ありますでしょうか。
はい、冒頭ちょっと不手際あって申し訳ございませんでした。では、北海道はなまらいいところです。ぜひいらしてください。
So let me start off by saying, or end by saying, Hokkaido is namara cool place to visit. So I hope you all go and come visit us sometime.
All right, thank you so much. Another round of applause for Takada-san and Ikeura-san. So this concludes our discussion portion of the evening. So now I'd like to invite you all upstairs for a Hokkaido feast. We'll see you there. Thank you.